Welcome to The Artist Matters. I'm Alex Rudy, and each week you will meet incredible artists from all walks of life. Filmmakers, writers, actors, painters, musicians, and so many more, sharing their stories to motivate and inspire the creative in you. Whether you're doing it for fun or looking to make a living, this show will help you on your journey to bring out the artist within and letting the world know that your art matters. Hey, welcome back to The Artist Matters. I'm your host, Alex Rudy. Welcome to another week of the new year. Hope we're sticking to some resolutions here, especially creative resolutions. Maybe it's expanding your artistic palette, learning something new about what you do already, or exploring something else. Or maybe it's picking up a paintbrush for the first time, or singing into a microphone, or drawing something, or auditioning for a play. Why not? It's the new year. Go for it. Take a chance. It'll be worth it. And this week has been rather busy. I actually interviewed 3 people this past week. And one of them's the guest you have today. And it's my second international guest, hailing all the way from Johannesburg, South Africa. Today's guest is painter extraordinaire Glen Josselsohn. Now, I was in a Facebook group, and I think someone asked if anybody does a podcast, and I put it out there that I do. And then I get a message from Jason Josselsohn saying, you better check out Glen Josselsohn. They're brothers. And yeah, I checked out some of his artwork, and it's amazing. You've got to check it out. The artwork is incredible. Some abstract stuff going on there, but so colorful and vibrant. And he's been working at it for a while, and he's been getting attention. Glen's artwork has been featured prominently in several exclusive hotels in the South African area. And of course, he's looking to expand. He's got his eyes on Europe and eventually the USA. Always shoot for the stars. Why not? And this is funny. This is the first time I've ever had to be in contact with an assistant. Yes, he had his assistant contact me with a lot of his information and artwork and articles about him. It's all out there. So it was nice to have that and arrange the interview. He also talks about things he's passionate about outside of art, which is Operation Smile. He contributes his artwork to help children with cleft palates. I never knew this existed, and it's a great cause. He also is an animal lover, just like me, and does a lot of charity work for helping shelters and rescuing animals. It's nice to see someone using their creativity to help bring about some positive change. I love it. That is so awesome. Now, Glen is 7 hours ahead of me. Yes, I did not know that. South Africa's that many hours ahead of the East Coast of the United States. I do have a day job, so getting home after 5 would not work, because guess what? It'd be midnight over there. His weekends weren't good, so this guy had to bite the bullet and wake up at 6 in the morning. And most of you who know me know I'm not a morning person. 6 a.m. is not for me. But if it's a chance to talk with an artist, I'm getting up. And I did that. Now, I think something was happening with Glen's house. So he had to go to another location, and he picked a hotel. So you will hear sounds in the background here and there. He started off in the lobby, which was too loud. And then he went up to one of the floors in the hotel, and it worked for a little bit. Sometimes you might hear a little drill going on in the background. So please bear with that. He does offer some great info and stories, and his artistic journey is definitely one worth listening to. It was short. I usually like to have at least an hour, but he only had about 25-30 minutes. So I made do with the time I had, and even though it's a shorter interview than I'm used to, it still does offer a lot. So without further ado, enjoy my chat with Glen Josselsohn. Okay, we have Glen Josselsohn. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Alex, for having me.
Oh, thanks for being on. Yes, absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you here. And let's begin at the beginning. Did you grow up in South Africa?
Yeah, Alex, born and raised in South Africa.
Now, were you painting as a kid?
You know what? All my life I've been involved in art of some sort. My mom's an art teacher, so growing up we had an art studio at home, and I always used to join my mom in the studio to paint. So basically, yeah, I can say I've basically painted all my life.
And did you end up going to school for painting as you got older?
Well, I did art throughout school, and then when it came to, when I finished, my school, I wanted to study art, but I landed up going into the Air Force and then starting other businesses in property renovation, and I never really got to do any degrees in art, but I pursued sketching and going to lessons and, just perfecting my style. And, I've just, self-taught and also with my techniques and, always learning. I'm always learning, following YouTube, looking at other talented artists, seeing what they're doing, and just evolving my style all the time.
So how did you find your style?
Well, it's actually quite an interesting story. Once upon a time, I'm talking maybe about 11, 12 years ago, I was watching The Life of Jackson Pollock. It was a movie that was on circuit, and I was totally fascinated with his freestyle of painting, the way he used to just splash art onto canvases and made an untold fortune, obviously after his death, but he still made money whilst being alive. And I just loved his, the freedom with which he painted and the speed at which he completed these pieces. And, I tried different ways of splashing paint onto canvases. I tried many applicators, and I found using a medical syringe, I developed a style with that to actually, squirt and spray paint all over the canvas, and I'm able to control it a lot better than just splashing on with a paintbrush. And
A syringe.
So that's where so that's where my drip technique, evolved from.
Wild.
Basically. And most of my works, I use a syringe to actually apply, paint to border, color, and to give just different. It allows me to paint thickly by, applying the paint with the syringe in areas. Most of my paintings, as I said, I use a syringe to border, color, etc.
Do you approach each painting the same way? Or do you have a certain process for each time you approach the canvas?
Alex, I have several different styles that are pretty much true to who I am as, they say artists, you got to get your own style, and I definitely have a look and feel that's Glen Josselsohn. It's very colorful. My works are all very colorful. I don't like insipid art. I like bright primary colors. I seldomly use pastels, and I always use a black border to highlight the colors in most of my pieces. But I do have about 5 or 6 styles, from figures to big block abstract colors, through to I do figures in the form of cyclists, and birds on reeds are one of my very popular pieces of work, where I show reeds using the drip technique, and I then paint birds onto the reeds. So I have 4 or 5 different styles, but I'm always looking to evolve myself. Then there's just crazy abstract, where there's just color and a culmination of several techniques in one that I bring into some of the canvas pieces.
It's very, very striking. Great stuff. And now, were you able to make a living as a painter? Did it take a while?
Okay, so that's another interesting question. When I started, I have a business background, and I've been involved in many, when I say many, technology, video and TV repairs, satellite TV. I've also had a recruitment business. I've always liked that side of, I have a business brain as well, but I enjoy the freedom of art, and I always wanted to make money selling art. I've always been fascinated by art and the kind of money you can make selling art. I do it as a hobby. I did it as a hobby, and I thought, you know what, how am I going to make money out of this industry? And it so happened that one day I started renovating houses, which was another business that I had on the side. And when I sold the properties, they would be fully furnished, and I needed art for the walls. And I thought, you know what, I'm not going to go buy art. I can paint art. Let me put my own stuff up on the walls, and let's see what happens. And I didn't think twice about it, but every time I renovated and sold, this was around about 2007, 2006, people would say, listen, does the art stay? Because we want the art. And I thought, wow, this is great. And then I started pursuing it, and not only just having art in my homes that I'd renovate, but I would also start marketing art in magazines, in South African interior design magazines, offering art as I would say, please offer your audience a painting in as a giveaway for subscription. And people would like or use SMSs to enter competition. It was a competition, basically, and they would draw a person that would have liked my painting, and I'd give it away. But I got the publicity in the magazine, and the publication would use my art as a giveaway and make their audience happy with something new and exciting. And I did this for a few years, which got me quite well known in South Africa. This was before Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
That's right.
So we relied on publications, on print media to start exposing ourselves, and it did very well for me. That's how I started my art career.
Wow, through the magazine.
Yeah.
What was do you remember the first piece you sold?
Yeah. Well, the first painting I sold, we actually, also, there was another story with one of the interior design hospitality TV programs called Top Billing. If you Google Glen Josselsohn Top Billing, it's a complete insight to me teaching people how to paint. And that's actually, together with the magazines, that's where I got a lot of traction from actually that televised show called Top Billing. So that was the beginning. That was like 2008.
How did you get that?
Sorry, can you repeat that question, Alex?
It was.
The Top Billing. Well, yeah, the Top Billing was